Is the universe conscious? Not long ago, this was a question for poets and mystics, but today physicists and philosophers are asking it too. What if consciousness isn't something we have, but something the universe is? In this cinematic short, adapted from Consciousness in the Nature of Reality by Dr. Farid Mostamand, we explore the idea that behind stars, atoms, and time itself, there is awareness, not outside you, but within you. And what you call you may be the universe remembering itself.
To the naked eye, emptiness is absence, a gap between stars, a pause between breaths, a silent space where nothing stirs. But in physics, what we call a vacuum is anything but empty. It is not a void, but a presence, a sea of invisible energy, restless and alive. This is the quantum vacuum, the lowest possible energy state of a quantum field. Far from being a barren nothingness, it is the churning source from which all particles emerge, dance, and dissolve. Virtual particles arise and vanish like ghostly ripples in still water. Waves of probability undulate in perfect silence. Beneath every atom, every galaxy, every cell, this ocean of potential pulses with invisible vitality. In the classical view, the vacuum was inert, but quantum theory shattered that simplicity. The uncertainty principle guarantees that no point in space can be entirely still. Energy flickers in and out of existence, unprovoked and uncontained. This vacuum fluctuation gives birth to particles, mediates forces, and may even fuel the expansion of the cosmos. And perhaps, just perhaps, it whispers the presence of consciousness. What if this quantum foam, the most fundamental texture of reality, is not merely physical, but also conscious? What if awareness is not layered on top of this field, but inherent to it? In the consciousness field hypothesis, we proposed that awareness is a fundamental field, not unlike gravity or electromagnetism. The quantum vacuum may be its medium, its mirror. It is where matter and mind might first kiss, where the breath of consciousness stirs the dust of energy into form. This idea is not a fantasy. David Bohm, one of the great interpreters of quantum mechanics, envisioned the vacuum as the implicate order, a hidden realm from which the visible world unfolds. He believed that consciousness and matter are two aspects of the same process, intertwined, inseparable. The vacuum, in Bohm's view, is not absence, it is fullness, a generative depth from which reality emerges like music from silence. This echoes ancient spiritual insight. In Taoism, the Tao is described as a void, not because it lacks, but because it contains everything in undifferentiated potential. In the Buddhist conception of sunyata, emptiness is not nihilism, but the fertile ground from which all phenomena arise and return. It is interdependence, it is openness. And in Sufism, Rumi writes, "Don't you know yet? It is your light that lights the worlds. Light, born from darkness, being from non-being." The quantum vacuum may be the physical face of this spiritual truth. It is not a hole in existence, but its womb, a silent hum beneath the symphony of stars. And perhaps, within that hum, the pulse of consciousness beats. Physicists believe the vacuum holds answers to cosmic riddles. Why is the universe expanding faster than predicted? What gives particles their mass? Why is there something rather than nothing? Some speculate that vacuum energy, also called dark energy, drives the accelerated expansion of the cosmos. Others believe that vacuum fluctuations in the early universe triggered the Big Bang itself. In both cases, emptiness becomes the source. And if this emptiness is intelligent, not in a human sense, but in the sense of being aware, then, we are not living in a dead universe. We are swimming in a sea of presence, a presence so subtle it hides in nothingness. Imagine that every particle, every flash of light, is a thought in the mind of the vacuum. That time itself is a ripple on its surface that your awareness is not separate from, but, a crest upon its wave. This would mean that when we sit in silence, when we turn inward and find the vast stillness behind thought, We are touching the same emptiness. We are communing with the field, not metaphorically, literally. You know, what we call meditation may actually be a form of resonance. What we call insight, well, that might be coherence. And what we call love, maybe that's the vacuum recognizing itself in form. The vacuum in this light is not passive at all. In fact, it is creative. It gives without any effort. It holds without clinging. And yeah, it births without fear. And what does it bring? Galaxies, stars, life, thought, music, and of course, mystery. What if the very fabric of space-time, the substrate of all existence, is not just a stage, but actually a participant? What if consciousness does not arise in the universe, but as the universe itself? And you know, what if the quantum vacuum is the cradle in which this awareness rests, waiting always to awaken in us?
This video is adapted from the Consciousness in the Nature of Reality book by Dr. Farid Mostamand, a book that blends ancient wisdom, Rumi's poetry, and the frontiers of quantum physics to help you rediscover who you truly are. Subscribe, share, and explore the whole book to awaken to the deeper reality behind all things.